Thank you for taking time out with PSOA. Sean Johnston here from Omaha, Nebraska. This is Week 5 training tape NFHS football. Today's biggest topic, not the only thing we're going to cover, is offensive holding. I will start with there's a lot of gray area, a lot of judgment, and when in Rome, do what the Romans do. So if your association, your center wants a very rule book tight offensive holding, interpret it as they want it called. If your state, your assigner is advantage disadvantage style of officiating, make sure you use all the information in this PowerPoint slide that we're going to go over real quick, and then the plays that we discuss. But first, the rule. And an offensive player shall not grasp or encircle any teammate to form interlocked blocking. Use his hands, arms, or legs to hook, lock, clamp, grasp, encircle, or hold. Here's the big gray area, in an effort to restrain an opponent. And then the runner may not grasp a teammate. Then it goes into the defensive holding. All of our plays today are going to be on offensive holding. So the main thing we're looking for holding: hook, lock, clamp, grasp, encircle, or that hold closing of the hands. So we teach categories and then types of plays to talk about thresholds. So categories: hook, turn. So the hook is I am outside the body frame of my opponent and I turn my opponent. Grab is the closing, the holding of the hands on my opponent. And then the restrict is preventing them to do the football act they want to do to make a play. Takedown is the grab, the encircle, and I jerk them down, take them down. This is not to be confused with a pancake block, which we'll talk a little bit later on. A tackle is a hug, a wrap up. I just wrap them and I tackle them to the ground, and they look like a ball carrier taken to the ground. And then we're going to see a couple of grab and jerk, where they literally grab the jersey and jerk them down to the ground. So grab and jerk is more of an immediate. A takedown is I'm holding them and I take them down typically to the side of me. So we'll take a look at a bunch of these, but you have to have a category first. Now the threshold, the types of plays. Interior linemen, offensive holding, need to impact the play, whether it's proximity, timing, allowing the quarterback to escape, allowing the passer to get off the pass, or point of attack, whether A gap, B gap, or on the outside edge. Now an edge block is, we're talking about the wide receivers, right? That's open field. That's one-on-one. So that edge block is going to be seen by more, but that threshold is going to be a lot tighter because that is the last defender that could make a play on that ball carrier until downfield with the safety. We don't have kickoff and punts. Any open field takedown, open field tackle has to be called holding, because if we don't call those, it's going to incite roughness. So the threshold at the point of attack is actually the same as the edge play, but an open field tackle, open field takedown, either at or away from the ball, has to be hold. And then the field goal. That's the hook and turn. It's usually that wing back on the outside rusher. They reach their arm out, they grab them, they restrict them, and they turn them to avoid them to get around the edge to block the field goal. So when you have an understanding of, yes, the words of the rule, but now put it in categories and connect it to the types of plays, now it's the processing. Number one, is it against the rule? There's my red flag. My radar is up. Number two, what is the true impact on the opponent? So if my opponent is getting held by rule but makes the sack, it's not holding. The opponent did what they were trying to do. Impact of the play. All right, so now we have, was it a positive yard? Was it a negative yard? The person who was held didn't make the tackle, but a teammate did in the same place. It didn't impact the play. And then timing, proximity, and then severity. All right, so the timing of it, that's allowing the quarterback to escape, allowing the passer to get off that pass clean. Because I will tell you, it's a lot easier to make a good pass knowing that you're not going to get hit versus making a good pass when you know you're going to get hit. So that proximity and timing is important. And then there's the severity. There's just some holds that are so egregious, even though it's away from the ball, it's almost to the personal foul level. We still have to process that as a foul. All right, with that being said, let's now get to the tape. We got 1st and 10 at the A12, position number 4. When the position and yardage is imperative, that's on these training tapes, why we have some with and some without. But this is imperative here, especially with the new rule. 1st and 10, A12, position number 4. And just to review the positions, so nearest the press box hash is position number 1. Nearest press box crossbar is position number 2. Right down the middle of the field goal post is position number 3. You could use the X's as well for the kickoff line. Position number 4, opposite press box. And then position number 5, right down the hash marks away from the press box. Important, so as a crew when we communicate, it's not left and right because we have officials on different sides of the balls saying left and right. So it's just position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 based on the press box. So here we are watching number 75, grab an immediate jerk at the point of attack. All right, so this isn't a takedown because of the abruptness of the jerk. So this is a grab and jerk, offensive holding. And since it was at the point of attack and it was a positive gain, we have an impact on the player, we have an impact on the play, we're going to have offensive holding. Since the foul took place behind the line of scrimmage, new rule this year, all right, so we're going to go back to the previous spot. So now we're 1st and 16 at the A6, which is half the distance to the goal. Position number 4, because we went back to that previous spot. Clock will start on the ready because we have a tackle in bounds. And then after penalty enforcement, we just want to make sure we get that play clock to 25 seconds before we wind it. So this is offensive holding, grab and jerk, an abrupt, immediate action of taking the opponent to the ground. All right, so we got number 75, grabbing on the inside frame of the body. Coaches out there, if you're listening, if you have your players grab on the inside, and we call it the steering wheel, you steer that defender where you want that defender to go, you drive that defender where you want them to go, legal. But once you get outside the body frame, all right, we're outside the body frame, the officials now can see that restriction, all right? So this is more of a delay jerk. I would put this more grab and restrict and grab and jerk. Again, we have the ball carrier going towards that hold. So we don't have a flag yet. And here we go. We have a teammate at the very same spot of the foul. So we do have a grab and jerk, grab and restrict, impacting the player. But if the judgment of the official, it does not have an impact on the play because the play was still made at that same spot. So whether that grab and restrict, grab and jerk happened or not, the result of the play was going to be the same. You could judge no foul on the play because it did not prevent the defense of what they were trying to do. Officials, if we do pass on this, we have to communicate with the player. Had the result of the play been different, the foul threshold would have been different too. Don't ignore it. Address it with the player. and let them know that there's a potential for holding in a different situation to prevent it continuing to happen in the game. All right, so we have a grab jerk right up the middle again. So now we got to make a judgment. All right, so this is when we're talking about the timing of it. Had this grab and jerk not happen, would this quarterback have been allowed to make that pass as clean and easy as it looked? It's your judgment as an official. Once again, do not let this go unaddressed. A grab, quick jerk takedown, allowing the passer to make that clean pass, I would err on the side of calling offensive holding. It's a huge advantage with that when that quarterback and passer feels safe that they're not going to get hit. You can't give the offense that much of an advantage. So this, I will say from a judgment standpoint, would have been supported heavily more on being called offensive holding, because the timing of it, that defender could have made a play on that pass, either make contact or at least get a hand up on the passing lane. 4th and 4, A45, position number 5. All right, we got a grab, we got a jerk, we have a takedown. Result of the play, when it comes back to the spot of where that hold took place, you can't have a late flag. I mean, we hear it on television all the time. While that flag came in late, that's okay. That means we processed the whole entire action, the whole entire play. So that grab and jerk initially had an impact on the player, but not the play. Now when that running back comes back to that spot where that defender's still on the ground because now he can't make a play, now it has an impact on the play. It is okay to throw that late flag when it comes back to that defender who's still on the ground. 4th down, remember officials, we're bringing our fist on top of each other, reminding each other on 0-2-0. 4th down, clock killer. Result of this play will definitely be a decline because Team B defense now has the ball. 1st and 10 at the now B47 for Team B. So throw the flag, you're recognizing it. It affected not only the player, but ultimately the play. They're going to decline it, and it's going to be their ball. Once again, we're addressing the hold to prevent future holds, letting that player know that that is our threshold. You can't do that action. All right, 3rd and 3, A46, position number 4. So the upright away from the press box. So I put in here, this is clearly a legal snap, but since we have the play clock in here, it's a good reminder. Back judges, if you have a play clock on the field, or if you have a ready ref, and that ready ref goes off with 0, before you throw the flag and blow your whistle, find the football. If it goes 0 or your ready ref expires and that football is moving, it's a legal snap. Let the play continue. All right. I'm not sure if you saw where those other circles were. All right. We have a chop block come in on the back side. So we talk about offensive holding, has to impact the play, has to impact the player. This is a safety foul. That does not fit a fairness foul like offensive holding. A chop block foul we need to call every single time, no matter what the situation. So now after that enforcement, all right, we could have 4th and 2 at the A48, position number 2, or 3rd and 18 at the A32, position 4. That chop block took place behind the previous spot. So we're going to go back to the previous spot, 15-yard penalty, and that previous spot was position number 4. but we need to make sure we give the option. Some teams might want fourth down. Majority of teams will want third down, but when there's a third down, fourth down option, let's give that team that option. 1st and 10, 8:29, position number 5. Grab, restrict outside of the body frame at the point of attack. And that defender who's being grabbed and restricted, all right, had an opportunity to make a play on that ball carrier. Had he tackled that ball carrier at the spot he's being held, it would not be a foul. But that ball carrier got by him and gained yards. Now we have 1st and 20 at the A19, position number 5. 2nd and 14 at the A11, position number 3, which is in the middle of the field. All right. It started out as a double team, and you would be correct. You're not going to have a double team offensive hold. There's already an advantage gain when you have 2 blockers blocking 1 defender. However, now it's a 1-person block, and the timing of it is right as the quarterback is about to escape the pocket, and the proximity is right near that passer. So now, though it started as a double team, it turns into a single one-on-one block. We definitely have a restriction. It impacts the player. It impacts the play, allowing the passer to escape the pocket. We are now outside the free blocking zone, and that pass does get past the previous line of scrimmage, so it's a legal throwaway. However, he was allowed to legally throw it away because of the offensive holding. So now the enforcement. We're going to go 3rd and 11, position number 5. Incomplete pass was the result of the play. Or, if the defense wants to accept the penalty, 2nd and half the distance to the goal, and 16.5 at a 5.5-yard line. Remember, we have to go back to position number 5 because that's where the previous play was. And back judges, remember to remind your referees after the penalty enforcement, the result of the play was an incomplete pass. We're going to start it on the snap. And I just went back to the beginning of the play. It's not position number 5. It's position number 3. So we would enforce this foul from position number 3, not position number 5. Again, the importance of O2O communication. If one official gives the wrong position, you have the information. Give your crew the information for correct penalty enforcement. 3rd and 2, 8:32, position number 3. We have the offensive blocker slipping, losing his feet. That does not take him out of the ability to offensive hold. Actually, when they lose their feet or when they get beat, you really want to officiate that even more. All right, so the blocker does go down to the ground, and as he's going down to the ground, grabs and takes the opponent to the ground with him. We have a point of attack, and it's a positive yards. Huge impact on the play. End of the play was a run out of bounds. All right, so we're going to enforce this offensive holding. 3rd and 12 at the 8:22, position number 3. Clock will start on the snap as the ball carrier was going forward out of bounds. So the result of the play was the clock was properly ruled to stop. 3rd and 6 at the 8:49, position number 4. So 5-yard penalty on the defense will not get us a first down. Another good thing to use on the crew O2O to remind the referee that. We have outside of the body frame, and this is what we would call sort of that hugging action and absolute egregious throwdown. So this reaches the level of personal foul. We're not going to call personal foul on it because it still fits the offensive category, but it's aggressive. So we're not worried about timing. We're not worried about proximity. We're not worried about effect on the play. We got to end the escalation of this offensive holding. Otherwise, we're going to get retaliation and lose control of the game. So just to replay it here again, the big egregious throwdowns we want to call offensive holding. And then we're going to leave it up to the defense. Do they want 4th and 6, 849 position number 4, or 3rd and 16 at the 839 position number 4? Either way, the clock will start on the snap due to the incomplete pass. All right, moving off of offensive holding. These two clips to show of hurdling versus not hurdling. Because really, when it comes to field goal attempts or point after attempts in high school, the only rule that we have with that player on defense coming over the line is hurdling. All right, so we're going to take a look at two plays. One is hurdling and one is clearly not hurdling. All right, so hurdling is jumping over an opponent that has 1 or 2 feet on the ground. So here is the player in question. He jumps clearly right through the gap, not over a shoulder, not over the body frame, not over the head. To prevent this from happening, coaches, you want to down block. Close those gaps so it's shoulder to shoulder with those linemen, and then he can't jump through a gap. All right, so just to let this play through, jumps right through the gap. NFHS, you cannot hurdle. He didn't jump over opponent. He jumped between a gap of 2 players. Going to the next play, we have the linemen now coming closer to each other. And this player in question, he actually pushes off of that player. He, I believe, is stepping on this player. This is now jumping over an opponent. And this is the purpose of this foul. You don't want somebody's spike going on somebody's body. All right. And then if these linemen come up, then he flips. So this would be considered a hurdle. Jumping over an opponent who has 1 or 2 feet on the ground. It's almost as dangerous for the person who hurdled as it is the person who took the spike on the back. So this would be hurdling. Since it's a try, the offense has the option. They could have the try at the 1.5 yard line at any position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they can move positions because it was a defensive foul. Or they could accept the PAT successful attempt, 1 point, and they can enforce it on the kickoff, which in this case would be the B45. So again, just slow down as a crew. Easy call, but different situations of the game, depending on the score, they might choose to enforce differently as well. These next 2 plays are reminders of block below the waist. NFHS, the player initiating the block must be in the free blocking zone on a player who starts on the line of scrimmage in the free blocking zone, and it must be immediately after the snap, which when it's immediately after the snap, the ball is in the free blocking zone. So as we let this play through, this is the player we're watching. Not immediate. Initial charge is not in the free blocking zone, and the defender didn't even start on the line of scrimmage. So this is a illegal block below the waist for multiple reasons. Not in the free blocking zone, not immediate, and the person they did block below the waist was not on the line of scrimmage at the snap. Number 75, now we would consider him in the free blocking zone. The defenders that he's going to block, it's judgment. Are they within the free blocking zone or not? But they're definitely on the line of scrimmage. Not immediate. Illegal block below the waist. All right. Definitely not immediate. Definitely not the initial charge. So this would be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. And since the player ran out of bounds, forward progress, all right, we would start it on the snap after the penalty enforcement. All right, so we're going to talk about dead ball officiating here and the threshold. So we've had a couple inadvertent whistles last couple weeks. And the best way to avoid an inadvertent whistle is not to have the whistle in your mouth while that ball is live. All right, so the ball is dead now. The ball carrier is down. This is actually when we want to find our whistle. All right, the whistle does not end the play. The rule of dead ball actually ends the play, and it's the player's responsibility to know when that play ends. Yeah, it's not fair that 84 is ahead, continuing to block when his teammate and ball carrier's down. He doesn't know the ball's down. Here's a good indication if players are watching this. When your opponent stops fighting back, let go. You don't finish the block. Continue to block to the end of the play. 100% agree. Do not continue to block when your opponent is out of the play and not continuing to block themselves. So this is a good call for personal foul, late hit, unnecessary roughness by this blocker. It was clearly after the ball was dead, and it is his responsibility to know when that block should end. The whistle does not end when they should be done blocking. It is their responsibility to know when to stop blocking. All right, good play here. We have two backs in the backfield. Both of them are looking at each other, and both of them think they're supposed to go in motion. All right, again, crew reminder, 4th down, under 5 yards. Let the referee know. 5 will get us 1. 5-yard penalty by the defense will give us a 1st down. Both receivers start to go in motion. This is number 2. This is not a false start by number 2. He's doing the same action as his teammate. He is not simulating the start of the play. He is simulating a motion. This is 2 players in motion. To make this legal, both receivers need to be stopped for 1 complete second. They were not set for 1 complete second. We have illegal motion. This is a live ball foul. We are not blowing our whistles. We are not killing this play. As this play develops, we have a completed pass for a 1st down. Tackle in bounds. So the defense will choose illegal motion, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. After enforcement, we will start the clock on the snap. Reminder, if this is the last 2 minutes of either half, the offended team will have the option either to start it on the ready for play as a result of this, or start on the snap because they want that ball back with as much time as they possibly can at the end of either half. All right, so I'm not sure what the time is on this clock here, but if this were 3 seconds, all right, they might want the clock to start on the snap to get to halftime. If it's 33 seconds and it's a 1-score ball game, they might want to start it on the snap to save time, so when they are forced to punt it, there's more time for them to score. So again, under 2 minutes, know that clock situation. Yes, it ended in bounds, started on the ready for play after enforcement, but under 2 minutes, the offended team has the option, snap or ready. Small mechanical reminder, referees, on kickoffs, we want to start at the goal line and at position number 5, which is the hash mark farthest from the press box, and do not give up that goal line until that ball is clearly possessed. I don't know if that kicked ball ever crossed the goal line or not, but understand the impact and power of our positioning will help sell our judgment, and our signals are very impactful. You know, whether we are saying, no, the ball did not touch the goal line, the ball's live in play, or I don't know if the ball touched the goal line. Don't leave it up to the fans, coaches, and players to interpret our signals. Be very clear and stick with the signals that are in the NFHS manual. And this one, start at the goal line, stay at the goal line. We're not making any touchback signal because we don't have the kicked ball touching the goal line. And when it is touched, now we're going to wind the clock. This is a small mechanical reminder for referees, and then sort of judgment / explanation of horse collar, not horse collar, and unnecessary roughness. So the clock is going to start on the snap here. Since it starts on the snap, we don't need to wind the clock. Now we have the first initial grab on the shoulder pad. It is the jersey, but it's a shoulder pad jersey, not the inside collar of the side or back. Now the question and judgment here, is it the number area or is it the nameplate area? It looks like more the number area, so this would not be considered horse collar since the pull of the jersey is at the number area, not the nameplate or inside, side, or back collar. Though he does get immediately taken down backwards or sideways, it is not by that part of the jersey. But can the defender now perform a rep-up tackle, or does he have to throw him to the ground like this? You definitely can't suplex. You can't pick up and body slam. And if you deem this unnecessary throwdown, you can judge this a personal foul. We just can't let players slam and potentially injure an opponent by slamming motion. You know, we encourage coaches to teach, yes, you can grab the jersey, you can pull them back, but performing a wrap-up tackle to take them down to the ground, to take out any unnecessary roughness judgment, personal foul on this type of action. A lot of plays, a lot of situations in this week's training tape. As we get subscribing, referees talking, coaches sending in clips as well, we're getting more plays to discuss. And we're beyond the basics, which is great. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Yes, this is a foul, but in what situations is it a foul? In what situations is not a foul? So I hope this brings discussion within a crew, in associations, and in potential observers when they come out and watch you officiate. If they ask you the questions why you did or why you did not have a foul, and this information in this train tape hopefully helps you answer those questions more clearly. If you did enjoy this Week 5 training tape, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe so you come back. Share it with other officials, fans, coaches. My big thing is when I see chain gang on their phones, ball personnel on their phones, I said, there's my next subscriber. So have them use those phones, timeout with PSOA, to have them watch this training tape in future. If you enjoy the shorts, enjoy the rules questions, click the like button and come see us again tomorrow. Thank you for taking time out with PSOA. And officials, remember, you're only as good as your last call.